Good morning. How are you guys doing this morning? I myself am very sleepy. I've got myself a good cup of coffee, and now let's talk about a movie. So today's movie review, if you couldn't tell from the title or the screen saver or whatever it's called, like I said, very tired. Can't really think of proper words. We're going to be covering Treasure Planet, which, for all intents and purposes, is a really good movie. In fact, it is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies from the early 2000s. This and Atlantis. And like Atlantis, I don't see a lot of people talking about how good this movie is, because, to put it simply, it's a really good movie. It is simple. Let me clarify that. It is a very simple movie. Very classic hero's journey. If anything, I can sell it to you as a pirate movie in space. Okay? So, the vast majority of this movie, you have to suspend so much disbelief because they're on sailing ships, sailing across space. And I'm no scientist, but I'm pretty sure you can't breathe in space. And I'm sure that there is like some in-universe machinery that allows for atmosphere to stay on the ship. But at the same time, it just makes it really cool because you're looking at pirates in space, right? So this movie has a lot going for it. It has action, it has thrill, it has romance, weird romance, but we'll get to that. One of the greatest aspects of this movie is the dynamic between the two titular main characters, Jim and Silver, Captain Silver, right? And this movie spends the vast majority of the traveling from one place to another, building their relationship and building their connection. They have such a beautifully chaotic relationship. Jim is desperate for a father figure, which is something that is relatable. I told you that the title is not. It is not clickbait. This movie is meant for the fatherless because Jim doesn't have a dad, and his dad, the reason he's not there is because he left, and that's pretty self-explanatory. And he left when he was a really little kid, and so when Jim builds this relationship with Captain Silver, it is very clear that he's desperate for a father figure. And Silver may not be a good guy. In fact, he is straight up a bad guy. But he has this soft spot for the kid. My only guess is because he didn't have a dad or something of that aspect. And his connection to Jim it's beautiful. You can really see the writers putting a lot of effort and the animators putting a lot of effort into clearly showing their connection. And the other side of the coin, aside from the emotional connection that you'll have with this movie, is the fact that it is actually funny. It's been a long time since an animated Disney movie, and I'm meaning Disney movie, has had good comedy. They've from like, I'd say like 2010 till like 2022, they were in a really rough, dry spot of not putting out very good movies, specifically animated movies, which is something that they're known for. At least that's one of the things that I've known Disney for, is their animations. They'd left a lot of their projects towards Pixar, and Pixar is in the same boat. There isn't as much passion, as much joy, as much, energy put into those movies. So if you're somebody who's like me, who's desperate to go back and relive some of the nostalgia and some of the good movies that used to come out when we were little, this is a perfect example of that. It's simple, it's sweet, it's straight to the point. It's 95 minutes long, which for a movie, especially nowadays, that's rather short, but it is such a good feel good, movie. And another thing I have to give credit to is the music. It is phenomenal. It's there isn't any like real major like orchestral moments throughout the movie. There's a couple of times where it happens, but it's in really serious situations. And the guy who did the music was James Newton Howard, and he really knew how to like put the music in when it's needed, take the music out when it's needed, and it really, it's what music should be. It plays the supporting role extremely well. I really enjoyed this movie. Clearly, it's one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. Back to one of the points that I made in the very beginning about the hero's journey, right? I'll go over a little bit of the plot. Spoiler alert if you've never seen this movie, but if you haven't, then pause this, treat yourself, come back to this, and then we'll discuss, right? So the whole plot of this movie starts with a story that is told in this really cool way of a space pirate called Captain Flint, who stole world's levels of gold and jewels and treasure and put it all in his treasure planet and then hid it away from the rest of the world, right? And Jim Hawkins, the main character, is absolutely obsessed with this story when he was really little. And then it fast forwards about 12 years, and Jim he's a troublemaker. Ever since his father left, he became, in my opinion, obsessed with freedom, right? He's an adrenaline junkie, right? He tries doing crazy stuff, crazy stunts. I mean, you're first introduced to him doing like just crazy stunts with a hoverboard. To me, that shows, a real lack of maturity, but a lack of maturity not brought on by his unwillingness to mature, but brought on by his environment. Now, don't get me wrong, his mom loves him to death, and his mom does everything she can to keep him safe and teach him and all of that. And he loves his mom and he respects his mom. That's something that I really, really like is his mom and his dynamic. They care for each other, but they don't know how to express it well. At least Jim doesn't, right? And the plot kind of moves forward. A lot of stuff happens really, really quickly. Old Man Jenkins, I don't remember his name, pirate turtle man, breaks down their door, gives Jim a map to Treasure Planet, and then he solves it, and then he hires a bunch of people to take him to Treasure Planet for a cut of the treasure, I'm assuming. That's where he meets Silver, Captain Silver. At the time, not being Captain Silver, but being the cook. Like I said in the very beginning, there's a very clear connection between these two. And it's so beautiful, their relationship. And that, to me, that was the point of this movie. Not Treasure Planet, but them finding treasure in each other. Cliche, weird, like, way to put it, but Silver never really had an opportunity to feel empathy or feel for another person. So it was almost like he was desperate to find somebody to connect with and talk to and support. And one of his lines to Jim is he's got the power of 1,000 suns and he can't wait to see him flourish, basically. And that was a beautiful line. I'll put the actual line here, but it was beautiful.
And when the time comes, you get the chance to really test the cut of your sails and show what you're made of. Well, I hope I'm there, catching some of the light coming off you that day.
And I loved that. As somebody who never really got that growing up, seeing that level of support given freely and without expectation, it's amazing. I love the fact that Silver sacrificed his entire dream, his entire journey that he spent his entire life going and doing. He sacrificed it to save Jim, and I love that. That is awesome. It is. It kind of shows what a parent should do and be like and act like, and it was really cool to see that. The movie ends with Jim letting Silver go because he was arrested, and he just kind of lets him go, and he joins the space military. I have no idea what they're called. I have not an ounce of cluage, and I'm assuming he's going on to go hunt down Captain Silver, whether it be like a cat and mouse kind of a thing where he catches him, let him go, blah, 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 that kind of a thing. But it was really cool to see Jim's character grow, because that's another thing that was really cool about this movie is you see Jim's character go from being that aloof troublemaker to a well-rounded individual, a well-rounded man who is willing to fight for what he believes in. And I really, really like that. I love seeing a journey like that. And that is the whole purpose of like a hero's journey, is growing to be a hero. Well, to be honest, that's the final point I really have. Oh, I know I said something about the romance. There's two characters that have a romance in this movie, and they have like a bajillion kids, like an actual litter of kids, which makes sense because one's a dog and one's a cat. Somebody explain that to me in the comments, because I have no idea how that works. But actually don't. I don't want that. I don't want to know. I'll stop you right here. I don't want to know. But like I said, that's about all that I gotta say. And I really enjoyed this movie. I really liked it. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. If you're interested, I have two other channels, one for cooking and one for gaming. If you're more into watching live streams and stuff, I'm currently doing an Elden Ring playthrough. And my last stream, I did really good. I killed 3 bosses without dying. Actually, I think I died once. But at least 2 bosses first try. It was really it was super satisfying, especially because one of those bosses had been giving me so much trouble in every other playthrough of this game that I've ever done. And the whole point of it is to get to the Ur Tree. Or not the Ur Tree, the DLC, whatever the DLC is called. And then the other channel, the cooking channel, I'm posting tomorrow a smash burger, how to make smash burgers. Specifically the smash burgers from Sorcerer's Apprentice. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Links in the description below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.